I don't care what the Oscars say. I think the awards for Best Actor should go to Mark Wahlberg, Ben Affleck, and Ashton Kutcher. Why not? They're doing a splendid acting job of convincing right-wingers that they're conservatives now.
I think what's happening. Propaganda.
And I don't mean a first place or a second place or a third place or a 20th place award. They're all winners, because that's the liberal way, isn't it? We wouldn't want to damage the self-esteem of these actors now, would we? Ashton Kutcher's gotta be like the best, most Oscar-worthy actor of all time. Because as much as I dig Sarah Palin's talking about how conservative he sounds. And the Heritage Foundation talks about how conservative he sounds. Meanwhile, Ashton Kutcher loathes Republicans. And then there's Ben Affleck, who also doesn't like Republicans, is a huge liberal who has taken the opportunity to show his concern for injured vets. Could it be because he has to show that he's matured enough to take on the role of Batman and Bruce Wayne? After the tone of the recent Dark Knight movies, does he want to be in better graces so he can be better received as the Dark Knight for a better box office turnout? Or what about Mark Wahlberg, a liberal, an Obama supporter, a proponent of gun control, but he's one of us now because he played a Navy SEAL? Now, I can only hope that a light went on when Mark Wahlberg saw the foolishness of liberalism during this interview.
One of the emotions I felt while watching the film is, first of all, just the hopelessness of the situation, how horrific it was, and also just all that loss of life of these brave American men. And I was torn about the message of the film in the same way that I think I am about the war in Afghanistan itself. I don't want any more senseless American death, and at the same time, I know that there are bad people there and good people who need help. Was that intentional?
Well, I don't know what part of the film you were watching, but hopelessness never really came into it. I mean, where did you see that? Because there was never at a point where we just felt like we were hopelessly lost or anything like that. We never gave up. I never felt like that we were losing until we were actually dead. I mean, that never came across in the battle and while we were fighting on the mountain, and it was just us against them.
Forget hopelessness, just the sense of all these wonderful people who died. It seemed senseless. I don't mean to disrespect in any way, but it seemed senseless, all these wonderful people who were killed for an op that went wrong.
We spend our whole lives trained to defend this country, and then we were sent over there by this country. So you're telling me that because we were over there doing what we were told by our country that it was senseless and they died for nothing?
No, I'm not saying that at all.
That's what you said.
As far as I know, Mark Wahlberg digs his faith, but being a Christian doesn't make you a conservative, whether you're a Catholic Christian, Presbyterian, or any denomination in between. If you're a Christian and you donate money to politicians who support abortion, redefining marriage, imposes gun control, supports amnesty, etc., then you're not a conservative, no matter how much money you donate to the troops, which is great, and I dig Wahlberg for that. But he supports a president who's cutting funding for the troops Mark donates to. How does that make sense? Again, it's so sad that many conservatives always say, who cares what these people have to say? Nobody cares about what these brain-dead celebrities think. But the second one of these actors like Ashton Kutcher says something even close to something that I and many conservatives in the new media have already been saying for years, we get left in the dust while they go fawn over the actor with the opinion that supposedly nobody cares about. I don't care about the Oscars, and I don't mind if you do. And I'm not one of those people who says, who cares about this stuff? People actually say this stuff when there's millions of people glued to it. I'm not one of them, but many people are. I can't get into an award show that wrestles with whether or not Woody Allen being a pervert could hurt his Oscar chances. Meanwhile, they have no reservations about discriminating against Joni Eareckson Tada. And the Academy justifies it by saying Broughton, former Academy governor at one time of the executive committee of its song branch, had sent emails to some voting members asking them to listen to the song. This, they decided, was undue influence. After only 13 days as a nominee, the song was formally rejected by the Academy, claiming it was protecting the integrity of the voting process. Now, as much as the liberal elite in Hollywood rejects Christ, do you really think Broughton was gonna get some favors by trying to get some love for his little Christian tune? Aren't we often hearing from liberals, don't push your Jesus on to us? Yet Broughton figures all of a sudden he can send out some emails trying to have influence over people in the entertainment industry by saying, listen, it's Jesus. I'm pretty sure he knew very well that it would most likely hurt, not help. And it did hurt him. But he probably figured he'd give the Academy a chance to be decent people. And we all know that Hollywood is so well known for its decency. You would think that Hollywood would have jumped at the chance to award the song sung by Joni Eareckson Tada. She's not a professionally trained singer. She's a quadriplegic. She is so frail that her husband had to push on her diaphragm to help her project when she sang for the recording. Despite her condition, she sang a song that was up against songs sung by U2, Pharrell, Beyonce, and Taylor Swift. It's a total underdog story. Liberals act like they love this sort of thing. What happened? Anyway, the Oscars aren't worth me reiterating how sick I am of movies like 12 Years a Slave and The Butler. These are race-baiting liberals that are angry about slavery and oppression while profiting off it. They're angry over white people because they feel that white people look down on black folks. Yet they always want to make films with blacks as figures in a lowly position. They think they're doing it to make the white folks feel guilty. But the truth is, they're the ones perpetuating the image of blacks that they're so angry about. You think all the guilt that they've been trying to milk out of white folks would have elevated the black community to overall prosperity by now. After years of guilt tripping, the black community should be the happiest race on the planet. But there's still a lot of bitterness. Bitterness that can't be cured by making whites feel guilty. It's like you're addicted to white people. It's like they rule the space in your head. I'm Alfonso Rachel with ZoNation, and why ain't I up for an Oscar? Liberals accuse me of putting on an act all the time, being that I'm black and therefore can't genuinely be a Republican. I must be a pretty good actor to keep this going for so long. Listen, it's Jesus.